Hey guys, I'm Steve, also known as TerraMantis, and recently I was invited by Ubisoft to check out a behind closed doors demonstration of an early access alpha build of the new Ghost Recon Breakpoint. At the event, I was able to interview the game's director, and between hands-off and hands-on gameplay demos, I spent a little over an hour with the actual gameplay of Breakpoint. So I thought it'd be a good idea to speak about what's changed to Ghost Recon and what improvements Breakpoint has made to the tactical open world squad shooter. So let's jump right into it. Here's 13 new features to Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Let's start with the setup and story of Breakpoint. And first and foremost, Breakpoint takes the main character, Nomad, to the fictional landmass Aroa, where a tech giant called Skell Technologies, specializing in robotics, automation, manufacturing, and military contracting via weaponized drones, has been taken over by a group known as the Wolves. The leader of the Wolves is Cole D. Walker, a rogue ghost agent and former squad mate of the player character Nomad. And Cole D. Walker, or as I like to call him, Cold Walker, has his own group of special lieutenants who seem to be unique boss enemies, who are then the leaders of their own groups of small rogue ghost units. And I got a real Metal Gear Solid vibe from these dudes, but we'll talk about them in greater detail later. For now though, for the first time in a Ghost Recon game, you're up against other highly trained ghost squads. And even though they used to be brothers in arms, Cold Walker attempts to kill Nomad. During Nomad's approach to the Wolves-occupied Aroa, the Ghost's small group of helicopters are taken down by a swarm of drones. And to my understanding, after the drone assault, Nomad is the only survivor, which seems to be a huge theme of the game. Survival. Not only is Nomad outnumbered and being hunted, but also more than ever before in Ghost Recon are physical conditions endangering the player character as well. But with that said, this is not a survival game. In other words, Nomad won't die from hunger, dehydration, or bleeding out from an unmended wound. No, you treat wounds to stop from limping to return to full running capabilities. You rehydrate to gain endurance and eat food to gain buffs. All of this and much more is dealt with in another new feature to Breakpoint, the Bivouac. Bivouac is basically a military and mountaineer term for a temporary campsite. And here, when making camp, Nomad can treat injuries, trade items with other teammates, and finally, choose from several different specializations. So far there are 5 specializations in Breakpoint: Assault, Sharpshooter, Panther, Engineer, and Field Medic. Presumably each specialization will give Nomad a unique ability, but I only saw the Panther specialization, which focuses on stealth capabilities. For example, this specialization allows for a large smoke bomb to be deployed for deception and obscuring your squad for offensive or defensive purposes. And I did think I saw the Sharpshooter specialization, which allows you to hold your breath while sniping to steady the aim. But as of right now though, we can only speculate as to what the Assault, Engineer, and Field Medic specializations can do. Alright, the next topic is a big one because I think along with myself that a lot of the community had complaints, feedback, and gripes with the limited variety and shoddy handling of many of the vehicles in Ghost Recon Wildlands. But Breakpoint, on the other hand, promises to vastly improve upon this. During the demonstration, Ubisoft jokingly and in a very self-aware way must have said 5 times in a row that the handling of the vehicles has been vastly improved. They've been listening to and implementing a lot of feedback. Also, as for the variety, I was told that there will be upwards of 30 new vehicles and military means to travel across Aroa. That is just hearsay though. In the hands-on demo I played, there was no vehicles to test, and in the hands-off demo, there's only a few new vehicles on display. So next, let's move outside of the vehicles and discuss traversing the terrain of Breakpoint on foot. I have to say that during my hands-on time with Breakpoint, I thought as though the fluidity and natural movements across the environment felt pretty great. Every movement carries a bit of weight and momentum with it. Also, the environment's impact on Nomad feels more realistic and natural. In Breakpoint, your stride slows while going up an incline. Your animation changes. You slog through water more realistically, and if you descend an incline too quickly and run out of stamina, you're going to take a spill and potentially injure Nomad. Now that's not all though. In addition to fluidity of movement, Breakpoint also expands many options for stealth gameplay and the tools at your disposal. Now, when you go prone on your belly, if the environment is suited for it, a prompt will indicate prone camo, allowing you to become nearly invisible by fading into the environment itself. Which brings us to our next stealth tool that complements prone camo perfectly with stealth takedowns. As the enemies pass you by, you can easily get the drop on one for a nearly instant takedown. There's also a wide array of new takedown animations. These vary depending on your specific equipped knife, as well as if you were completely undetected or not. If an enemy gets eyes on you just for a brief moment, the takedown will turn into a struggle for life. Now, as for the bodies after a takedown, Breakpoint on the other hand allows you to lift fallen enemies and move the bodies somewhere away from patrols. In addition to enemies, you can also help injured allies by lifting them out of the hot zone where their wounds can then be treated. And last but not least of the tools at your disposal to tackle hostile situations is the new addition of the Breach tool. This tool allows you to create your own entry point in the fence of an enemy fort. This is a must-have addition to the game. In previous Ghost Recon titles, there was only 1, maybe 2 points of entry into an enemy base, which is very constricting and limits the player's creativity of how they can tackle combat situations. But in Breakpoint, the ability to essentially create your own door allows for much more dynamic events, which is what Ghost Recon is all about. It allows the player and their team to strategize and choose their own tactics instead of the game choosing them for you. Now, with all of these new features like the Breach tool, prone camo, body movement to avoid detection, you and your squad are going to be more dangerous than ever. But the enemy is stronger than ever as well. From what I saw, there are several new enemy types in Breakpoint. For one, there is the Heavy Gunner, a minigun-wielding foot soldier in thick armor from head to toe, and various automated war machines like the AIM drone and several others. But more threatening than any of the normal enemies are Walker's lieutenants. These lieutenants are ghost-trained elite soldiers, and the boss showcased in the demo was codenamed the Flycatcher, an enemy who could hunt you down like no other by controlling several weaponized drones simultaneously. Additionally, from the CGI trailer of Breakpoint, it would appear that Cold Walker has 8 of these lieutenants spread across Aroa. These boss lieutenants, no doubt, will bring about Breakpoint's greatest challenges, each with their own unique mechanics to overcome. Now, speaking of the game's greatest challenges, the game's director did speak briefly on the future of Ghost Recon Breakpoint after its initial release in October. He spoke on an evolving list of features that would be added during the game's lifespan, but most important, at least to me, is that Breakpoint will be releasing endgame content in the form of raids. I only got to see a teaser of the raids, but it definitely looked interesting. It showed some type of thermal power plant built into a volcano housed with a platoon of elite troops, only to put the cherry on top as a helicopter dropped off some type of high-tech missile machine on wheels that began to spark and flicker as though it was about to activate invisible stealth technology. Not only did it look pretty cool, but these raids will be co-op only with real people, so it's definitely implied that they're meant to be difficult. So, like I said, very interesting. Alright guys, that's about it for me. Let me know if you have any questions about Ghost Recon Breakpoint in the comments section below. I'll do my best to answer everything I can. And on that note, I'd like to thank Ubisoft for allowing me to see an early version of the game, as well as sponsoring this video. And last but not least, if you're interested in the game, there's a link in the description box below that will take you to all things Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. It really goes a long way with the success and searchability of videos. It helped me out a lot and I'd really appreciate it. I also don't upload constantly, so please don't be afraid of hitting that bell button. I promise I won't flood your inbox. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.